Now this is where we left off in the last video. I got this first grow bed all prepared, ready for planting. And in this video what we're going to do is get those beet seedlings that I grew in that little cake pan, and we're going to start planting them. But before we do that, when we cleaned the soil out of all four of these grow beds, there were a few overwintered beets that were still there. Now I took them over and cleaned them up roughly and put them in a bucket, and this is how many there were. And it's quite a few when you consider these were overwintered, and it was kind of a throwaway thing. But when we took them inside and cleaned them up even more and cut them up and cooked them, they were absolutely delicious. Okay, so one of the first things we've got to do is we've got to wet this down. And I'm going to just put some water in here, a lot of water, so that we can pull these plants out of this, what'll turn into kind of a muddy mess. So anyway, let's let that sit a minute, and then we'll get back over to start plant them. Well, today I'm going to be transplanting some beets, and what I'm going to do is transplant them with a pencil. Now, I know that sounds a little nutty, but let me explain what I'm going to be doing here. First of all, let me show you this. Now, I transplanted a couple of these beets a few days ago, and as you can see, they are doing pretty good. Now you see this one here has got, it looks like he's a little sick. He's not feeling that good. This one is feeling pretty good. And I got them out of here. If you remember, these are beets that I planted that were from saved seeds, and it is now time to plant them. Now the way I'm going to do this is quite simple. What the pencil is for is to make a small hole here, and as you can see, just make a little hole, and then what we'll do is take my pan here, really wet dirt, and pull one of these beet sprouts out. See, there he is. And then what we do is just put that guy in there and just kind of squeeze it in there. Now what we're going to do is do that across this whole thing, and put 3 or 4 inches between them. Grab another one. As you can see, the roots pretty well stay intact because it's so wet over there. Now put that in here, and we'll put that in. Now what I'm going to do is fill the rest of this up, and the rest of the grow beds up over there too. Now the way to pull these plants out of this little pie plate is really quite simple. Now I just put a bunch of water in here, as you saw, and all you really do is just grab one of these that looks pretty good sized and pull it out. Now that one, I'm not so sure. We'll put that guy, we'll plant that one later. I think I might have broken that one. So here's another one right here. Let's just pull very gently, and you can see there's roots. See if you can see that. I don't think it's not focusing, but yeah, you can see it on the ground there. See, there's roots on all of them. And then I'll pull another one of these out. There, okay, that one came out pretty good. And you see this last one has a pretty good set of roots on it still. Now most of these, even these ones that doesn't look like there's a lot of roots on them, they'll survive, they'll be fine, and they'll work out pretty good. So the idea is to pull these plants gingerly, carefully out of here, and then plant them all in here like I just showed you with the pencil. Okay, I'll just take a few seconds here to show you how I'm planting these. It's really quite simple. Now the important thing to remember is that pie plate where I originally planted the seeds in. Now to get them out of there, that's got to be very muddy so that you can pull those plants out of there without damaging the roots. Other than that, this is really about as simple as it looks. Well, okay, I've got them all planted. There's 2, 3, and there is 4 grow beds here that I've got these planted in. We'll give them a couple days and water them well and see how they do. Now I have, as you can see, I have a lot left. So I'm just going to let these sit here for a while and dry out a little bit. And if any of these obviously fail, they'll fail in a couple of days, we've got some replacements ready to go. So this ought to make a really good crop of beets for us as the season goes on. Well, it's the middle of April, and I think it's actually the 14th today. And these beets that I planted a while ago are actually transplanted. If you remember, I got them out of this little pan right here that I planted some saved beet seeds in a while ago. And this is what's left of what was in the pan. This is kind of amazing to me because there are so many of these still left, and I got a plan for these. But anyway, so here's what became of them. As you can see, we had some, we got some nice little beet plants or beet seedlings going, and it looks like just about every one that I planted actually succeeded. I'm looking for one. What I did was I planted 4 across and whatever, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 down or whatever it was. But you can see the checkerboard pattern here. They've all done well. Let me just show you. So you can see right here, there's 4 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see they've done well. Now we've had some very cold weather, so this greenhouse has gotten down to freezing a few times here since these were transplanted. It's gotten below freezing, but as you can see, they've done very, very well. Now when it was still very cold, you see these purple leaves. They were all purple like that, and as it warmed up the last few days, these green ones really started going. So when it was cold, they were mostly purplish, and as it warmed up, they got green. So that's what we've got so far. They're doing quite well. There's a nice big one right there. Now, I'm hoping that, like in years past, each one of those little beet plants will end up something like this.